Hello and welcome back to WePC. Today we'll be taking a look at one of Corsair's budget keyboard offerings, the HyperX Alloy Core RGB keyboard. Now the peripheral market is currently jam-packed with high-end keyboards priced between $100 and $200. So when HyperX created this budget alternative, we were excited to see what it could bring to the lower end of the keyboard spectrum. A price point that is definitely needed with more variety. So with that in mind, let's waste no further time and get straight into it. The HyperX Alloy Core RGB is a full-sized keyboard that boasts a fairly elaborate design when compared against other options within the price point. It predominantly is in a black color theme that is accented by vibrant RGB keys and a small strip across the F buttons. The HyperX logo is branded at the top of the keyboard in a chrome style finish, contrasting nicely with the black background. The top left of the keyboard offers some RGB customization buttons, whereas the right hosts your dedicated media keys, something we will touch upon later in more detail. The alloy core is made almost entirely from plastic, but that's pretty much what we can expect from this price point across the board. Now the plastic behind the keys has been finished with a light matte roughness, whereas the bottom of the keyboard offers some grip thanks to the designed rose style grooves. The underside of this keyboard is fairly generic and doesn't really offer anything in terms of design features. There are no cable management routes or USB audio pass-throughs. There are, however, 4 rubber feet that help stabilize this keyboard, and they work quite well on most surfaces. They can be popped out to raise the rear of the keyboard, but only come with one height setting. Now on the downside, the plastic doesn't feel the most robust. It has quite a bit of a bend when doing some of our quality stress tests, something we didn't see much in other plastic boards. Furthermore, I've only been using this keyboard for around 3 days and I can already see a healthy amount of dirt buildup in the bottom grooves. But having said that, it is very easily wiped clean, but it is still a point worth noting. Like any hardware offering, the HyperX Alloy Core RGB keyboard comes with a bunch of features and benefits designed to improve the overall user experience. God, that is a mouthful. However, considering its price point, it'll be interesting to see what features it brings to the table. Let's start off by taking a closer look at the switches. Now, unfortunately, this keyboard does not offer mechanical switches. Instead, HyperX have equipped it with the membrane dome switches, which are much less responsive and spongier for the most part. Now, there are keyboards out there in this price point that do offer mechanical switches. However, most of the time you'll find that the manufacturer has to drastically reduce the overall build quality and onboard features to be able to incorporate those switches. In this case, HyperX have gone for membrane, which it doesn't feel amazing when you're gaming, especially if you've just made the switch from a mechanical keyboard, but they feel relatively slow in terms of response and don't really offer any tactile feel. However, they are very quiet, which would be great for Mike in our office. Like many of today's popular gaming keyboards, the Alloy Core comes with its own brand of RGB lighting. Very nice. Very nice. That has to be said, it is fairly lacking in terms of customization compared to competition, and unlike other keyboards in the price range which have dedicated software packages for onboard profiles and RGB customization, the Alloy Core only offers a selection of onboard presets that can be toggled using the RGB buttons on the top left. Now, the HyperX Alloy Core only has 5 RGB lighting zones and 6 presets to choose from, so pretty lacking if truth be told. Found on the right hand side of the keyboard, users will have access to volume controls, skip, play, pause, previous and stop media keys. And when I first plugged the keyboard in, I actually noticed that the media keys weren't registering. However, after a quick restart, they did work just fine. And I did notice that the media keys themselves felt very spongy and not well made, which was a little bit annoying. From a gaming point of view, we were happy to see this keyboard offer an anti-ghosting and key rollover features. Now, this is great if you play games that require elaborate key binds or several keys to be pressed. Like many membrane keyboards, the HyperX Alloy offers a spill-resistant layer that has the capacity to take up to 120 milliliters of liquid. Now, I'm not 100% sure what liquid was used or whether that test was even performed, but that's what HyperX claim. And so on to the hands-on results. This is the section where we run the keyboard through a number of different gaming scenarios to see how it performs. So let's jump on in. I started off by playing CSGO, my go-to game. The first thing I noticed when playing was how spongy the rubber domes felt. I mean, it wasn't that obvious when typing, but when gaming it became much more apparent. And as far as responsiveness went, I couldn't really tell the difference between this and other keyboards of a similar price. They felt relatively responsive and accurate, albeit with a slightly harder actuation force needed for each key press. Now, when we tried a couple of MMO titles after this, let's be honest, the keyboard that doesn't come with a macro keys is never going to be the best for MMOs. Having said that, the key rollover seemed to tick in at times and worked well whilst playing games like WoW. So playing with the RGB was a pastime that lasted mere minutes. To reiterate what we've already touched on, the Alloy Core does not offer the greatest range of presets and customization as far as RGB is concerned. You do have the option to reduce the brightness or simply turn it off altogether. Feature one member of our team appreciated greatly, and the bottom line of this is that if you're a gamer or a first-time gamer or somebody even looking for a cheap board that offers fairly rudimentary features, this could be a nice fit for your needs. It offers a bit of RGB, some spill resistant underlying, dedicated media keys, which is a big plus overall, and some cool overall aesthetics. However, if you have played games for a while and you need a keyboard that's going to take your gaming to the next level, this isn't the keyboard for you. As always, thanks for watching. There'll be links to the product in the description below. If you like what you see, I'm not just talking about me, why not consider subscribing to WePC?